Some startups go up, others go down. Welcome to GeekWire's Elevator Pitch, where three entrepreneurs pitch their businesses in the 42 seconds it takes to get to the top of Seattle's iconic Space Needle. Over the course of 9 episodes, we'll narrow the field from 27 entrepreneurs to one winner. In this episode of Elevator Pitch, presented by Smartsheet, we'll hear from 3 startup founders as they pitch their emerging businesses to our panel of leading investors and entrepreneurs. Let's meet our judges. T.A. McCann, a serial software entrepreneur and professional sailor who sold his last company to Google and counts Rival IQ and more than a half dozen other startups to his name. Richard Tate, the motorcycle-riding Scotsman and mastermind behind the hit board game Cranium, who now stirs up new ideas inside Starbucks. Heather Redman, power broker and former Getty Images executive who cuts deals as managing director of venture capital firm Flying Fish Partners. The clock is ticking. Jump on board and ride with us on the elevator pitch and find out which entrepreneur has what it takes to make it to the top.
Hi, my name is Louis Lin, and I'm the CEO of PeopleMaven.
Welcome to the Space Needle.
Traditional ways of hiring is absolutely frustrating. You have to write the job description, you wait for the resumes to roll in, you do rounds and rounds of interviews, and after 3 months, you fire the person because you realize that candidate was trained to say the right things at the interview. So how are we different? PeopleMaven gives talent seekers what they really want. Millions of lists recommending amazing people, from talented software engineers to homeopathic fertility doctors, all by the names that they trust. So who's ready to try PeopleMaven and change the way that you people search?
Welcome.
Hi Heather, hi Richard, and hi TA.
What's the domain focus? Is there a particular focus of one career type or one type of industry, or is it incredibly broad?
The way that our software is architected, it's a horizontal platform, and so we can have every single vertical under the sun. At first, we thought about specializing on a single vertical, but then we thought to ourselves, why restrain our users from creating lists of people in the domains that they're interested in?
What does it do?
So the way that it works, it's really, you can almost think of it like a high school yearbook. And so you have faces of people, and these lists have titles associated to them. And so from the high school analogy, it could be the people who are most likely to succeed, or the people who are most likely to show up on Forbes magazine. We have kind of the same concept here, but instead they're very specific to different types of areas. And so it might be a list of the most talented JavaScript software engineers here in Seattle, or it's the most talented graphic designers specializing in Adobe Illustrator in San Francisco.
And so how do you make sure that that list is actually an accurate list? How do you generate the data?
It's a user-generated site. And so the users, it might be even you, Heather, you might contribute lists of people that you personally have some expertise around. And so you might know some of the great venture capitalists in Seattle, you might know some of the great entrepreneurs, the most talented startup lawyers, and you would contribute those lists. And based off of your reputation, people would say, you know what, Heather's somebody that I trust because I've had firsthand experiences with her, or she's well known in the industry. I trust her opinions on the people that she's recommended.
How do the most accredited lists get to the top of the search? I want to make sure that if I'm hiring somebody, the person who's recommending them to me is someone who's really truly accredited to make that recommendation.
Right now, it's really around personal reputation, and so your personal brand on the internet. We don't do any sort of like certification, if you will. At this point, it's really a user-generated content site. I'd say eventually, in the long run, we would use the power of data science and machine learning to use behavioral characteristics to say, hey, Heather's list, she's contributed in the last 5 years. We don't see as many positive indicators in terms of thumbs up, thumbs down, reviews, views. No offense, Heather.
I'm crushed.
Somebody else's list.
Gotta work harder.
Somebody else's list might be a little bit considered, at least from the behavioral metrics, something that might be some more credible.
Who's the customer and what's the business model? Who pays?
We're building a marketplace. We're building a network, and right now our #1 metric is growth. And it's not so much user growth, but it's really around list growth. And through these lists, people are finding out about us through organic Google searches, which is just another way of saying we're generating a lot of page views. And when it comes to business model, revenue model, there's a lot of things that we could try. Probably one of the first things that we would try would be online advertising.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Good.
much.
Thank you.
Wow, we go from something so specific from storm sensor to something that's so broad and
Right.
amorphic.
Right.
You have to start every business with at least a hypothesis of what the business model is, and if it's advertising centric or if it's end user. I mean, it doesn't matter. You just have to have a focus on that. Even if you don't turn it on for a while, you have to at least know, at least I think so. From day one, like, this is what we believe to be the business model.
Yeah.
And therefore you'll architect the product, you'll market the product, you'll work all that very differently depending on what the answer is.
Right now we're all drowning in too much information, into this idea of just sort of accumulating all of these lists across this incredible panoply of potential jobs and having it be kind of a content marketing strategy for people. Just to me, it sort of seemed like endorsements on LinkedIn, particularly for businesses like this. I want to see something that's built AI ML first, and that's not even on his radar other than as a someday thing. But the only way for this product to be at scale and useful would have to be, especially at the kind of breadth that they have, would be for it to be built AI and ML first, which I'm not hearing.